The Demographic Transition Model, or DTM, is the population framework AP Human Geography tests more than any other in Unit 2. It shows how birth rates and death rates change as a country develops, moving through 5 stages from high and high to low and low. The key insight is that death rates always fall first because medicine and sanitation arrive before cultural changes around family size, and the gap between those falling death rates and still high birth rates is what drives explosive population growth. You need to know 2 terms cold for the exam. The crude birth rate, or CBR, measures births per 1,000 people per year, and the crude death rate, or CDR, measures deaths the same way. Natural increase is simply CBR minus CDR, which tells you how fast a population grows before migration is added in. To estimate doubling time, use the rule of 70, which means dividing 70 by the annual growth rate as a percent to get the approximate years it takes for the population to double. Stage 2 is what historians call the population explosion, and it happens because death rates collapse while birth rates stay high. 4 mechanisms drive that collapse, and you should name them on the FRQ. Clean water and sanitation cut waterborne illness, germ theory, and vaccines reduce infant and child mortality. More reliable food supply prevents famine cycles, and basic medical care saves lives that would have been lost decades earlier. Niger today is a textbook example, and Europe lived through the same transition during the Industrial Revolution. Stage 3 is where birth rates finally start to fall, and 4 social forces do the heavy lifting. Urbanization shrinks family size because city children cost more to raise and contribute less labor than farm children did. Female education delays the age of first birth and gives women more control over reproductive choices. Contraception becomes widely available and culturally acceptable. And as infant mortality drops, parents stop over-having children to hedge against losing some. India and Egypt sit in this stage today, and the signal on a chart is that both rates are now low, with the birth rate actively chasing the death rate downward. This is the College Board's favorite trap, so memorize the distinction. Both stages show population growth, but the difference is which rate is actively moving. In Stage 2, the death rate drops while the birth rate stays high, so the gap widens and growth accelerates. In Stage 3, the birth rate now drops while the death rate is already low, so the gap narrows and growth decelerates. The simple memory hook is that 2 equals death falling and 3 equals births falling, and getting this right banks you easy multiple choice points every time. Every DTM stage produces a signature population pyramid shape, which is why pyramids and the model show up together on FRQs. Stage 1 has a wide base and a narrow top with low overall life expectancy. Stage 2 has an even wider base because of the massive youth bulge from fast growth. Stage 3 shows the base finally narrowing, while the middle stays thick. Stage 4 becomes roughly rectangular as cohorts equalize, and Stage 5 becomes top-heavy with a narrow base and wide upper bars showing an aging society. If the exam shows you a pyramid, name the stage immediately, because that single move earns the description point and sets up your prediction. Stage 5 is where birth rates actually fall below death rates, which produces natural decrease unless migration offsets it. Japan, Italy, South Korea, and Germany all sit here today, and the AP exam tests 3 consequences you need to name. The dependency ratio rises because fewer working-age people support more retirees. Pension and healthcare systems strain under that weight, and governments end up debating 2 policy tools to fix it. They can offer pronatalist incentives like paid parental leave and child subsidies, or they can expand immigration to backfill the workforce, and both options carry real political costs. Students often confuse 2 related models, so know the difference clearly. The DTM tracks population change through birth and death rates. The Epidemiological Transition Model, or ETM, tracks the causes of death as societies develop. Pre-industrial societies die mostly from infectious disease, famine, and complications of childbirth, while developed societies die mostly from chronic conditions like heart disease, stroke, and cancer. When the prompt mentions disease patterns or life expectancy, switch to ETM reasoning, and when it mentions growth rates or population structure, stay on DTM. There is a 4-step identification method that works every time on the AP exam. Start by checking the CBR, where anything above 30 per thousand is considered high. Then, check the CDR, where above 15 is high. Compute natural increase next, because growth above 2% annually signals stage 2, while growth below 0.5% signals stage 4 or 5. Finally, match the pyramid shape to confirm your answer. And always close your FRQ response by naming one consequence and one realistic policy response, because pure description does not earn points, but prediction does.
The link below has 22 flashcards and 20 AP-style practice questions on the demographic transition model. They're built to help you ace the AP exam. Try them. Subscribe for new AP videos every week.